Okay, today we're going to talk about common sense and why they say people who are book smart have no common sense, and why that's kind of true, or I guess I can say why it was at least true in my case and how it makes sense to me. So, as I'm telling my son that Candy Crush is not something he wants to spend all his time doing, he says, "Well, Mom, it's teaching us to problem solve." I'm like, "Oh yeah?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, that's true, but we know you're brilliant on the game. You can be brilliant in real life too, and just don't be on it for too long." And then his dad was like, "Well, so how do you win? How do you problem solve?" And so he's trying to explain it to him, right? And then my husband starts telling him or asking him questions, leading him to understand like the question he's trying to ask. And so as he's doing this, he's explaining the game of Candy Crush. And I swear, y'all, like I knew that there's a strategy to win Candy Crush, but I wasn't going to take the time to figure it out, and it just all seemed too complicated to me. And then when he's saying how to play it, and he's like, "What's the goal of the game? What's say up there?" And there's like a donut with sprinkles. He's like, "How many are you supposed to get?" And I'm sitting there like, "Oh, it tells you right on the screen the directions." And it's funny. And I mean, I'm not judging myself. I'm just coming to an understanding that what is common sense to some people is not common sense to everyone. And then that's how you know how connected you are intuitively, how intuitively connected you are. And by that I mean, because to be intuitive is just to like know, just to like divinely know, like that's the truth, that is your truth. And that's like how epiphanies work, right? It's just, oh, suddenly I got it, okay? And so then that's the same thing with what we're talking about now. Common sense. So with common sense, you just kind of know what to do. Like nobody really has to tell you that if I don't know, if your dog runs out of food, he's going to go hungry. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody really has to tell you that, because you can relate that to yourself and your own situations. But when you can't, you can't. And when you're book smart, you don't try to sit and relate it. You just understand what you need to know and how to do it, and that's it. And once you tell me, I got it, like that. Like you can really figure that stuff out. But it's all about what interests you and what you actually want to know about. So if you're book smart, like that kind of stuff interests you, so you're going to be good at that. But if you're not, you kind of have to get like more in tune with yourself, because you're not looking outside for all these answers to teach you something. You're just picking up what you know already, like that. So common sense is not the same for everyone. The level of common sense, so that's just like the level of intuition. But the thing is too, that some people don't understand that common sense means that you're connecting to your higher self, and that that's when you're connected. Like that's when you just gotta know for sure, know that feeling, trust that feeling, and you'll be able to feel it every single time. So a lot of people who have common sense secularly, but they don't have it spiritually. Okay? And so that's why everybody's different, but it's all forms of consciousness. But it makes sense to me now that a lot of things seem pointless to me simply because they don't make sense to me. And they don't make sense to me in the sense of it's not common sense to me, and it's not something I'm even interested in to be a part of what I even have to think about. Like I think video games are silly not like that. Silly to invest all your time in. That's what I think. Like computers, things like that. Even TV, I'm that person who feel like it should just be limited. I feel like a lot of things should be balanced. Everything should have a balance. It should be balanced. And so I feel like it's something that's easily addictive, just like drugs. Hello, steer clear. But again, that's common sense to me. It's not common sense to other people. So it's something that's really not intuitively felt. And so therefore that person is not connected. And that's just what it comes down to. So common sense and intuition, it's all one and the same. And the levels to it are multiple. It keeps on going. It's endless. So everybody's at a different stage of the game. So that's why we practice not judging anybody or situations. That person has to deal with themselves, and they'll get it because it's common sense. Trust your intuition, Star Peoples.